it didn't grow on us. So I'm repainting the door, and Aaron is putting on the rest of the metal. Let's see how this goes. Right over there.
Yep.
Moment of truth. Yeah. Yep, already looking better. This one is more of an oriental eggplant, they said, and it's along the lines of the dark, deep purple that I wanted up against the green.
Mom, they don't paint that.
Well, what to do when it's all over this?
Oh, metal?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Don't touch that.
So he's cutting the metal out around the door frame, and it's called a J channel, which will cap it off and not make it a jagged, sharp looking edge. Looks good.
This is the J channel. This is just a. It's really supposed to keep water out
Oh, okay. Jagged
and give you a
edges.
finished look.
First coat of the new door is done. I did a little test spot and it seemed to be drying a little darker. So I'm a bit more optimistic this time, but we'll see. The reason why that's sticking out farther is so when it rains, it acts almost like a gutter. And it drains down and it doesn't drain into the frame of the door. Up the other end bracket on the back, and then he is completely done with the barn. Still not sold on the color of the front door. It's been a thorn in my side, but we'll see how it looks when it dries 100%, and if it's not the right color, I will try again, because my goal is to have the front door of the barn and the front door of the house match, and I don't want it to look bad. Is that too much to ask? So I'm heading inside to make dinner. Aaron's finishing up the touches on the barn, and it is done. Next step will be fencing. It's a lot of work. It's not easy, but it's worth it. See you next time. All right, the barn is officially done. And I know it's pretty small, but with our budget and what we're starting off with, it's the right size. So we're starting off with a small goat milk herd. And by small, I mean like 2 in milk. Because I've never actually had a dairy animal. And this is one of the many reasons why we are going with, or I should say I am going with dairy goats. My husband, he's on board, but this is definitely not his passion. And not a milk cow. First of all, it's our land. What little pasture we've had on our 36 acres went to the farm garden spot. Yes, a cow can live in forest, but we have very dense forest. And I don't want to feed our milk cow grain and hay all the time and then them forage what little they can. So until that situation is fixed, I don't really feel like a milk cow is feasible on our property. Since I've never had a dairy animal, I don't know what I'm doing. So to get 3 and 4 gallons of milk feels totally overwhelming to me. I don't have storage for that kind of milk. I don't have the tools and the equipment to turn that milk into cheese. And all of that can be done, but I don't want to have to learn how to do all that and acquire all that equipment when I'm totally new at this on my own. I will be doing this on my own. Yes, I have friends that would come and milk and would benefit from it, but I can't rely on that because what if they decide they don't need it, or their kid has a dairy allergy, or, you know, they can't come milk that morning because X, Y, and Z happened. I have to go into this knowing that I am going to be the 100% person doing this at all times. I'm sure my husband will help if I can't get out there, but again, this is not his dream, this is not his thing, and he's not committed to it like I am. So land and experience are my 2 driving forces for getting goats. What you hear, Hank? What's up there? He's probably barking at a bear up there on the ridge. Wouldn't surprise me. Anyway, so those are the 2 main reasons why I'm going with dairy goats and not a milk cow. Also, I love goats. I have loved them for years upon years upon years upon years and always wanted them. It's been a dream. I may only have them for a year and sell them and be able to move on to a milk cow. I don't know. But for now, that's the plan. That's the goal. So why are we doing all of this? Why am I bringing a dairy animal onto the farm? I get asked this a lot. What are you going to do with the goats? And when I tell them I'm going to milk them, I either get an, oh, that's cool, or I get, you're gonna what? Like, people can understand the whole dairy cow thing. They can wrap their head around. As milk goats, they're really not sold on it. Nutrient-dense food is the type of food we're transitioning into. I study a lot of the Weston Price theory and what he studied and what they ate in the Bible. They didn't go to the land of soy milk and honey. They went to the land flowing with milk and honey. So there is a reason why God's people drank milk. They would have drank raw milk straight from the animal. That animal would have been raised humanely. It would have been raised on the best grasses and forage that was offered back then. So it was healthy and it was nutrient dense. And that is the goal I'm trying to get to. Now about the barn. Still have some metal to clean up there, but the stall itself is 8 by 8, which is enough to house 2 goats. I can partition it off if one's had a baby, and I can separate it out for birthing. We chose not to close in the wings right away. We were originally going to do that, but budget-wise, and being that my husband is a step-by-step kind of a man, We decided to leave it open. Eventually we'll close these in and house our meat birds and turkeys. I also want to raise rabbits, either just for like 4-H and showing or for meat. So yeah, that's kind of our thought process behind this barn. The sides can be closed in. This barn can be added onto in either direction. And it's going to be something that we can use for years to come. Here's the back. They've got like a nice little window we can open and close. It also lets sunlight in. We went with metal, number one, because it's cheaper. The price of lumber right now in our area is sky high, as it is, I'm sure, around most of the country. And it won't deteriorate. This metal will last forever. We get this metal ordered from a local company here in town, and they cut it to our specs, everything we need, they deliver it, and we are good to go. So that's our little barn. That's my little plan in a nutshell. And to me, this little barn represents one more step to self-sustainability. I want to be able to grow and raise all of our food, really, at least 90% of it. And even though I say this barn represents our self-sustainability, really our number one person that's going to sustain us through everything in life is the Lord. None of this would be possible without Him. This channel is to glorify Him and to show the world what He has brought us through and what He is doing in our lives. And He is ultimately our provider. Nothing we can ever do, think, or attempt will ever come close to what He is going to do or provide in our lives. That's the barn. That's our plan. We're going to work next week on getting getting the fencing put up. And then I'll be able to bring home some animals. Super exciting times here on the farm. Thanks for following along. I hope this video was helpful and gave you some ideas on a barn for your homestead. Maybe you live on a very small piece of property. We happen to live on 36 acres, but we also happen to live on 36 acres of dense forest. So maybe this will help you kind of get a game plan going for your homestead and a blueprint on what you can do for yourselves. So thanks for following along. We'll see you on the next video. Have a blessed day.